Adiran. We are building in the kind of commercial district that I've got going on. To the left is the Woodenry, right next to that is the Strickland Bakery, and then behind it is it's a community lot, it's a marketplace. I do intend Arndt Blumenthal to eventually own it, just so it can actually sell things. But what we're building today is what I've decided to give my Hartman family. They are a gentry family, so normally they really wouldn't have a business, but they're supposed to be very wealthy and they're trying to join the nobility. So the way I decided that they had reached that position is they owned a jewelry business. There's a really cool set on Plumbob Keep that has just like a ton of really interesting little jewelry boxes. You probably saw at the beginning in the back area of this lot that I had a bunch of stuff already pulled out, so I wanted to make sure I used all the items. So I wanted this to be a really fancy, opulent looking building, but I still wanted it to be like with the regular commercial lots. Like, this has been there a really long time and they've improved it over time, so it almost doesn't fit, but the overall like shape of it, like probably the original building shape of it, would have fit in. It's just they've made so much money, and maybe originally it was a market stall or something like that, but now it's actually a jewelry business. And then because it's such a long lot, because I wanted to fill in that space behind, I always wanted there to be like a bit of an extra community space there. I cut it off with a stone wall, and behind there is going to be like a fountain and just kind of like a hangout spot. So it's going to fit really well in the middle of all of those, and I'll make sure to leave openings so it looks like you can walk from one to the other, but really it's just decorative. And this lot really doesn't even need like a quote-unquote backyard space. I don't know why I'm saying quote-unquote lately, it's all I want to say, but I didn't want it to immediately go into the community space from their back door, so put in some stairs, a little tiny bathroom. I actually ended up really having a hard time decorating this lot, I'm not even gonna lie, because I've never decorated really a jewelry store, but like a medieval jewelry store, and so it was just really difficult for me. I knew I wanted a shop space upstairs, which actually fits in really nicely because the patriarch of the family, oh gosh, I think his name is Joshua, it might be Josiah, it's one of those two. His hobby is gem cutting, so again, that's why I went with the jewelry store. It fit in really nicely. And what I think I'm going to do, because nobility can't really own a business, Arndt Blumenthal's going to own quote-unquote, see, I'm doing it again, he's going to own the community lots, but that's just so that they're functional, not really like a business, and I'm not going to have him run them or anything. But the nobility really don't own businesses, so what was going to happen to Hartman's? Like, I'm building this whole lot, this is their whole backstory, what are we going to do with it? And I decided, since his wife Charlemagne was, after the war, indentured, before that she'd been a countess, and she was indentured, and he basically bought her out. Well, she had a son while she was indentured. She had Adelard, and Adelard Bellamy right now is kind of in a really gray area of, he was born in nobility, he became indentured, and now he's free, but he's not really gentry because he didn't marry anybody in that class. He's just free now. And I see Joshua as the kind of sim that really, he doesn't want his family legacy to be ruined. He's really proud of Hartman's, he's really proud of the, probably generations that have worked here. He doesn't want to see it just go anywhere. You can see me having I was struggling with the tables. I really didn't want to use OMSPs. I wanted to find something that would let me set them all up. Like the top table you can see with the 6 on there, I really wanted that, because I didn't like the 3 separate. It didn't look right. So I'm going to struggle with this for a while. So Adelard's in a weird place. He doesn't really have anything anymore. His family's no longer noble. What am I going to do with him was also a question. Like, what if Joshua, because his son's he wants his son to be a baron, and to be a baron, he's not going to be able to own this business anyways. So it's not like he's giving up his family legacy. He would give the shop to Adelard to run, because Adelard will also not be made noble by this, since he's not born in the family or anything. Like, he just happened to get the perks because of his mother. If it wasn't for his mother, he'd still be indentured. So this is going to be a really good opportunity for him to better himself and to actually have a place in the world and have something that's his and something he can survive off of. Because he needs that. He's really adrift, and with Adiran recently coming into contact with Tenby, which is a magical city in the woods where a lot of the survivors during the war escaped to, especially the magical ones. And among them are actually Adelard's biological father, Severin Bellamy, who is still alive and is technically Charlemagne's husband, or was, but to simplify things, Arndt, who is the king, he basically just said, like, it doesn't matter so much, because the assumption was those people were dead, so people who've remarried since then, like Charlemagne, were acting in good faith. And I mean, I'm sure he didn't give him the option, but it was like, you know, you can kind of decide what you're gonna do. And the decision made, Charlemagne's obviously staying with her husband. Severin also has remarried at the time. He remarried to a Kenton, which is... It complicates things, for sure. And so... Adelard actually has a brother as well, Laurent, who is the older brother. So he really wouldn't have been noble anyways, but... Basically, I'm being really long-winded in saying Adelard didn't have a place in the world. He's kind of adrift, and this is really going to give him something to ground himself. As you can see, I finally went with those tables for the jewelry displays. I really love these. Like, I think they're just a beautifully made piece of CC, and it's so simple but so effective. I wish they fit how they are currently on other tables, but really that was the only one that I could get them to fit them on. I didn't want to do shelves. I wanted a table. And so I said, screw it, we're gonna do this. Is it realistic? Probably not. Do I care? No. And this is me now. I'm going through all the things. I basically picked out anything that looked super fancy, not necessarily just jewelry, because I wanted other things in the shop as well, so like those little jewelry boxes. Those are part of the set, and so they do have recolors. I am going to completely change this counter setup that I currently have going on. Also, my game was freezing a lot, which was super annoying. I actually had to cut this into 2 parts, because A, I had to go to eat dinner, but B, it was just going so slow, it was driving me nuts. I needed a break. So this is going to be a 2-parter, but I'm almost done now. I'm basically just recoloring. There's a ton of recolors of these. There's only one of the black one, which is a little frustrating, because I did like that one as well, but I've got the red and the green, all the different jewelry options. I think I only had to repeat 2 of them. Again, really nice. Tons of options. I also used the jewelry boxes. There's some gold plates, some gold cups and chalices and things. There's some like standing up plates. I'm trying to think of what else is in that set. It's not a huge set, but there's lots of recolors. So like this is one item, but I'm able to use it 24 times, which I actually use it more than that, but yeah, and it looks fine. It looks great. Also, there is a mix match, which does, of the wood tones. Kind of annoys me, but I allow it. Yeah, I put an extra one over there because I wanted the black one, but like since I couldn't do it, yeah. I only used the tiara object once because it just didn't make sense to have a whole bunch of them. It feasibly didn't make sense. Here's those casks. These do actually place a little bit nicer, but this is about the part where I'm gonna discover, you know what, these counters aren't working. I like the way they look, but it just wasn't working, and so I move on to the shelves, which was also a problem because I was blocking the windows, but I just decided to ignore that. I elected to completely ignore the fact that there was windows and giant shelves in the way. Didn't care. Sometimes you gotta make the executive decision, and that was the decision. See, I'm just making sure I have all the different colors. Oh, I haven't quite done it yet. I also there's some objects that don't fit on those shelves, which is frustrating. So like this one does not fit on the open for business shelf, so anything cloned from an open for business shelf, like these go on there just fine. They look fantastic. Super excited about that. Just making sure I've got all the different colors. And then I was like, oh, do these fit on there? Because I had to repeat some of the colors there because there aren't as many of that larger jewelry box. There's only 3. So I was was looking for other things. I'm like, okay, what else can I put in these things? And I had, like I said, a lot of things. Like I had a lot of money objects as well, and I was like, all right, that doesn't really make sense. This is not a treasury. Like the astrogloby thingies didn't really make sense. That should go like more to an alchemist. I was trying to keep all the cask kind of things together. This is me discovering that doesn't go on there. So that's why I kept some of the counters, because there was objects that didn't fit on the shelves. Oh, these books as well are part of that set. They do have fancy jewelry recolors. I don't use all of them, I only do 8 because I didn't want a ton of books, because it's not really a bookshelf or bookstore, but they were part of the set and they were pictures of jewelry, so I was like, alright, I'll have some. I had like fancy china, I had that whole pottery set. I was like, no, that doesn't really go. And the reason why I had the china is because there are some like gold plates that are part of the set, but I was like, it didn't feel right. This is me just stocking up the shelves. I'm really happy too, just in general, with the background that I decided for this lot, for this family. They might actually be the only quote, oh my god, listen to me say quote unquote. Why is that my thing right now? I don't know. I'm gonna stop apologizing for it. I just noticed that I was doing it, and I'm like, why? But this is really the only new set of Sims that I've added. All the rest were existing Adiran Sims. So they don't have the benefit of the history that a lot of my other Sims did. And I was like, well, I need to do something for them to make them a little bit more special. And yeah, I think a jewelry store is a really good addition. I've always really wanted one. And so getting to use this, because I love this set. I've always wanted to build my own jewelry store. I like the actual lot that was built with the set too, but it was just too big. It didn't really fit in with the aesthetic, and I like building my own lots. I don't really like downloading lots. Not because they're not beautiful. A lot of lots that you can download are absolutely freaking incredible, and I make lots for downloads. It's just, for me, I end up having a lot of problems with them, just like if I'm missing a piece of CC, or my style, I very much like to make sure everything is playable, or if it's not playable, it's very intentionally not playable. Like the upstairs portion of this lot is not really meant to be playable. I just wanted to mimic like where the jewelry was being made kind of thing. But it's not a functional lot because we don't really have that. But everything else, perfectly functional. This works. This works as a store. You can see I have some little pieces of jewelry, like that Slytherin locket, which is from a Harry Potter set. Also you can see bits and pieces of purple flashing. Oh my gosh, words are hard. Pink flashing. I just ignored it. I was not going to restart because it wasn't really happening consistently. I'm just kind of sorting now. I'm like, well, okay, what really fits in? Once I had the aesthetic of the store, I'm like, what really fits in here? What makes sense? Okay, see pink flashing there. Only on some of them, which fine. I wanted to make sure there's recolors of that too. That was it. I don't like having the same object repeated more than twice. Like I can do it once or twice, but like I don't like a ton of the same object because that doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense the way I play Adiran, but also like in a medieval setting they wouldn't have, that's just not the kind of, it's not like Target where you walk in and there's 30 towels that are the same color, or you know, things like that. That just wasn't. And Adiran is in no way, shape, or form meant to be historically accurate, but that part of it, like, it bothers me to do that. So I try to be, you know, there's one item, or there's 2, or there's maybe 4, but some of them are in different colors. I was really mad I couldn't fit this set in. So mad. It wasn't really jeweled, but like I wanted to try. But it didn't go on the shelves, and I didn't want to make room for it anywhere else, so I just let it go. We're just about done. I think I've just got a few more things I'm going to place, and then we will catch up with what I'm doing in the lot and the second part, which I do decorate a lot of the back part. I don't actually record finishing this lot because, admittedly, that back stone terracey area is not finished yet because I don't know what to do with it. I was just going to like make it a hangout spot, but I didn't really like that, and so I'm still kind of mulling over what I'm going to do there. But the actual jewelry store itself gets completed, and the back town space is what we're going to call that. That also gets completed. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I'm, as always, glad to be decorating Adiran, and I'm so glad that I can actually play it this year. It was a big goal that I had, and I was really upset thinking that I wasn't going to be able to when I had the computer issues, but here we are. We're playing Adiran. We're doing the thing. Yeah, if you have any thoughts or ideas of what I could do for that back stone patio type area, definitely let me know in the comments below. And I think I'm gonna see myself out and let this finish out. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll see you in the next one.